Hello everyone, welcome to this video, and in this video we're going to discuss geometric means. Let's have now geometric means. Geometric means are terms between two geometric terms. So for example, if you have now your A and then blank, and then this is now B. So this is now your first term, and then this is your third term. Now technically, to get now your geometric means, technically in some references they're saying that this is now A times B, the square root of A times B. So in the sense of geometric sequence, so you have now A sub 2 would be equal to A sub 1 times A sub 3. Okay, now let's have some example. So let me just have a different color of pen. So that would be blue. So solve for the geometric mean between 7 and 63. So technically, this is now your A sub 1 and this is now your A sub 3. So you need to insert now one geometric mean. So technically, that's your A sub 2. So when you have this one, 7 times 63. So let me have that, 7 times 63. So if you have that, multiply now 7 times 63. So there you have now 441. So A sub 441. So working with that, getting the square root of that would be A sub 2 would be equal to 21. So to check, let's check now its common ratio. So technically you have now your A sub 1 is equal to 7, and then A sub 2 would be 21, and then A sub 3 is 63. So I'm gonna get now A sub 2 over A sub 1. So R would be equal to 21 over 7. So R would be equal to 3. Now technically, we're working now R is equal to A sub 3 over A sub 2. So R would be equal to 63 over 21. So R would be equal to 3. So therefore, you have now a common ratio. Therefore, this is now correct. So that's how you check it. Now, let's go into cases. So case 1 is that if there are what we call the odd geometric means. Why add? So there are odd numbers of geometric means in between two terms of a geometric sequence. So for an example, insert now geometric means between 128 and 8. So technically, this is not how it works. So 128, and then you have now 3 blanks. And then you have now your 8. Now, the strategy here is that you get first A sub 3. This is now the first one. And then it's either you get now your A sub 2, and then you got now your A sub 1. So first, second, and then third. So let's have that. So when we look at that, let's have this one in a sense. Okay. So first one, you need to get now your A sub 3. So A sub 3 would be equal to your A sub 1 times A sub 5. Make sense? So A sub 3 would be equal to square root of 128 times 8. So using your calculator, so we have now 128 times 8, that's 1,024. And getting the square root of that would be equal to 32. So we have now our A sub 3. Now, working now on your A sub 2 as a strategy, so you have now, can now work out with A sub 1 times A sub 3. No, rather this would be your A sub 2. Okay? And then A sub 2 would be equal to your A sub 1, it's 128 times 32, what we computed a little bit early. And then A sub 2 would be 128 times 32. If I'm mistaken, that would be square root of 4096 or 4096. And then getting the square root of that using the calculator, it's 64. Now, we can now get now your A sub 4. Your A sub 4 would be now square root of A sub 3 times A sub 5. Then A sub 4 would be equal to A sub 3, that is now 32 if I'm mistaken. Then multiply by 8. A sub 4 would be equal to square root of 256. Yeah, 256, and then A sub 4 would be equal to 16. So therefore, this is now the 3 geometric means. Now, in order for you to check if your answer are correct, you can now check now your common ratio. So technically, so your A sub 2, so now we will have now 64 as an answer, 64, 32, and 16. As you can see, 32 divided by 16, so the common ratio is 2. Just to check it on by inspection, right? So that is now on your case 1. Now let's go with case 2. Now on case 2, you have now your even geometric means. Am I right? So as you can see, Insert now two geometric means between 1 and 25. So technically this is now your 1, comma, 2, and then 125. Now as you can see, this is now your a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, and then a sub 4. Now, when it's even, you use now the general formula. The general formula is a sub n would be equal to a sub 1 r raised to n minus 1. Technically, you have your a sub 4. So what you're going to do is that using now your a sub 4 would be equal to a sub 1 r raised to 3. So 4 minus 1. So we can now solve that. So a sub 4 is 125 is equal to 1 times r cubed, right? So dividing both hands side by 1. So what do we have there is 125 is equal to r cubed. Now getting now the cube root of 125, cube root of r cubed. So we have now 5 is equal to r. So we have our common ratio of 5. Now technically, if your r is a common ratio, it's much easier for you to get now a sub 2. A sub 2 would be equal to a sub 1 r, right? And then a sub 3 is equal to a sub 1 r squared. Now a sub 2 would be equal to 1 times 5. So a sub 2 would be equal to 5. Technically, a sub 3 would be equal to 1 times 5 squared. So a sub 3 would be equal to 25. So getting now the answer, first get now your r, and then after getting now your r, you can now multiply that. So technically, the answer would lead us to 5 and 25. I hope you learned something about geometric means. So there are two cases, like the even cases and the odd cases. So if you have any question, plug in your question below, and I think we could answer those questions. Have a great day, everyone.